The afternoon breeze in the military camp blew slowly as Cha Eun-woo stood up straight, his face still filled with tears that he hadn't had time to wipe completely. His uniform was neat, but the vibration on his shoulders showed how hard he was feeling. The senior in front of him stood firm, yet the look in his eyes softened, as if he were facing something far more fragile than just a junior soldier. A human being who had finally let his wounds show. "Is that what you're saying, senior?" Yoonwoo's voice is slow, cracked, yet clear. There is a veiled fear in it. Fear that the answer he heard just now is just a formality, pleasantries, or empty sympathy. The senior sighed softly before replying, "Yes, I say that because I see you continue to endure everything on your own." Eun-woo closed his eyes, trying to control his emotions. Those words touched such a deep place. A place that for so long he had tightly closed off from everyone, even his own family. Over the years of being a public figure, he got used to withstanding everything. Pressure, criticism, fatigue, longing, and fear of failure. But in the camp, where everyone was equal before discipline and order, he could no longer hide. "I see how you always push yourself," the senior continued. "You do everything perfectly, but your face is always holding something back. You're not a machine, Eun-woo." That word, "you're not a machine," made Eun-woo finally unable to resist anymore. He looked down, holding his wet face. The senior approached, patting Eun-woo on the shoulder slowly, far different from his usual firmness. That light touch actually felt like destroying the last stronghold in him. "Why? Why do you care about me?" asked Eun-woo in between sobs. The senior smiled faintly. "Because I was once like you." The answer made Eun-woo look up slowly. In his senior gaze, he saw a much bigger story than he had ever imagined. The senior continued, "I used to enter the army with a big burden. People expected me to be the best, but I almost broke down. And when I was down, a senior came up to me, said the same thing I told you. Those words saved me. So I wanted to make sure you weren't alone." Eun-woo felt his chest tightness again, but this time it wasn't because of sadness. It was because of the relief that slowly appeared. Throughout his life, he always felt that he had to be strong, had to be perfect, had to be the hope of many people. But in the presence of his seniors, he can be himself. A man who is also tired, scared, and can cry. "You know why I said you don't always have to be strong?" asked the senior. Eun-woo shook his head slowly, like a confused child. "Because here you have us, this team, your brothers." Senior patted his own chest, right above the heart. "And I don't want to see one of our brothers carrying the burden alone." That speech destroyed Eun-woo for the second time. Tears flowed down his face without trying to hold it back. He covered his face with his hands, but his sobs were still clearly audible. The senior took a step closer, then grabbed her shoulder steadily. Not pushing, not pressing, just making sure that Eun-woo knew. She was no longer alone. "My senior, I'm afraid." Eun-woo finally said the words he had been holding deep within himself. "I'm afraid to disappoint people. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid I'm not good enough." The senior nodded, listening empathetically. "Everyone is scared, not even me, even those who look the strongest. But you know what's the difference between a great soldier and a soldier who wants to look great?" Eun-woo nodded slowly. The great warrior dared to admit his fear. That sentence felt like a soft slap, like something Eun-woo had needed all along but had never heard from anyone. "You've worked hard, Eun-woo," the senior continued. "It's so hard to forget that you're human. You forget that humans need rest, need to talk, need to cry." Eun-woo heaved a sigh, his shoulders heaving up and down. "I don't want to look weak. Crying is not weakness," the senior replied quickly. "That's courage. You're crying because you're finally facing what you've been avoiding." Eun-woo was silent. He slowly lowered his hands, letting his face be seen. Her red eyes, wet cheeks, and quivering lips all show a side of her that she never lets others see. "Then, what should I do?" Eunice asked slowly. Senior looked at him with a confidence that Eun-woo never found in anyone. "Let go of the burden you carry. Trust us. You are not alone, and will never be alone here." Those words calmed Eun-woo like a gentle gust of wind in the dark night. For the first time since he entered the camp, he felt a truly tangible calm. The few other soldiers who were far behind could only see from a distance, but they knew what was going on. The news of Eun-woo crying in front of his seniors immediately spread quietly without gossip, without sneering, just respect. Because they know, only real men dare to see our wide as the afternoon breeze returned. Eun-woo looked at his senior, with puffy eyes, but much lighter than before. "My senior, thank you," Eun-woo said in a still trembling but sincere voice. "Thank you for seeing me. Not just as a soldier, but as a human being." The senior smiled, this time warmer. "From today on, you no longer need to ask if those words are true. I will always be here to remind you." Eun-woo bowed respectfully, not because of the rules, but because of the sincere respect of his heart. And from that day on, Eun-woo changed. He trains with more focus, not to prove himself perfect, but to prove that he can get along with others. He began to laugh more often, talk more, and open up slowly to other soldiers. One sentence from a senior had changed the whole world inside him. And now, every time he remembers that moment, he knows. He no longer walks alone. Cha Eun-woo stood sculpted in the middle of a row of young soldiers. The sound of the morning breeze touched the skin of his face that was still wet with the rest of the tears that he wiped silently. However, his eyes couldn't lie. He had just been through something that shook his heart. The senior who had just spoken to him, Sergeant Kim, was still standing a few steps ahead, hands clasped behind his back. The look in his eyes was firm, yet there was a warmth that was hard to hide. The other soldiers began to disperse, but Eun-woo remained standing there, motionless, as if the words he heard earlier were still hitting his chest many times. ***, really? Is that what you told me, my senior?" Eun-woo muttered slowly, almost like a whisper to himself. Sergeant Kim looked up slightly, looking at him. "Cha Eun-woo," he called quietly. "Come here." Eun-woo's steps were slow, hesitant, like someone who was trying to understand something that was too heavy yet too honest to ignore. When the distance was only a few meters, Sergeant Kim let out a long sigh before speaking. "Yes," he said flatly but meaningfully. "You heard it right." Eun-woo clenched his fists, trying to stabilize his breath. "Why? Why did Senior say such a thing? Why to me?" Sergeant Kim stared at him for a long time, and for a few seconds, Eun-woo felt as if time stopped. "Because you look strong from the outside," he said slowly. "But bear too much alone." Eun-woo gasped. That was not the answer he expected. Sergeant Kim continued, his voice low, almost like an older brother talking to his own sister. "I know you're a big idol. Everybody knows. But here, you're just Cha Eun-woo, a soldier. And a soldier who harbors everything alone. Sooner or later breaks." The word broken pierced through Eun-woo's heart like an arrow. "When I see the way you train, the way you shut up every night, the way you smile when your legs are shaking with fatigue, I know you're trying to be stronger than your fear." Eun-woo winked, and a tear fell down without him being able to stop it. "Senior." His voice was hoarse. "The anger you hold, the loneliness you hide, the responsibility you take on. Everything is visible to people who once were like you." Sergeant Kim looked at him more deeply. "I've had days like that. Be someone who is praised on the outside, but fragile on the inside." Eun-woo held his breath. Then Sergeant Kim added a sentence that made Eun-woo's knees almost limp.